Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
But tell me, Eddie, is that a rabbit in your pocket or you're just happy to see me?
Welcome, everyone. We are back, and yes, I'm back to the square images, even though that weirded my nerdy home out last Sunday, basically. But I went back to the square images. For my streams, like I said, because for the reading streams in particular, because then you can see the fireplace while I am reading Fellowship of the Ring. But we are not talking Fellowship of the Ring today, because I did my reading stream Tuesday. We are talking the sequel to John Wick from 2017, John Wick Chapter 2. My opinion, I think, now again, I'm going to preface this with, it does not mean the movie itself is bad. All right, just because I think it's the weakest does not mean I think the movie is bad. I primarily think it's the weakest because I think the villain is weak. That's like my kind of issue. It's like there's nothing really to the villain, basically. It's like basically feels like the whole premise of the movie with the villain is to basically set up the long war, pretty much. John Wick versus the High Table. So it's like it kind of feels like almost like a filler. Again, just in the scheme of the other movies, that's what it feels like. But again, like Lethal Weapon movies, there's no real bad one in the mix. No real genuine bad one where like you could be like, you can skip this one. You're not missing anything. No, you should watch this one. You should watch this one if you haven't seen all of them because it does set certain things up that do pay off in 3 and 4. So, before I say hello to the chat and we get into talking the sequel to John Wick, Orange Chat, let everybody know where they can find you and all that fun stuff. And at the end of the stream, if I remember, because I am tired, we talked about what we're going to do for the 1s and 2s and singles next month, and we're going to probably change up the schedule a little bit for next month in terms of the 1s and 2s and the singles. But anyway, Orange Chat, let everybody know where they can find you and all that good stuff.
Well, you crazy bastards, you can all find me here on Mara's channel twice a month for the 1s and 2s. Friday, you can find me on my own channel, if I'm awake at that time of night, to do the uncensored stream, because lately I've been working a lot and just get really fucking tired. Sunday nights are the weekly recaps, and Tuesday afternoons are the theme streams. I just got done doing February's theme streams. I just got done doing Star Wars The Old Republic storylines. So yeah, I'm still thinking of a theme. I'm thinking March Madness for the single streams. And I don't know why I'm doing a rogue right now. It just, for some weird reason, because, the Irish is coming. But yeah, I'm thinking about doing March Madness where I'm going to be discussing not movies, but characters in movies that basically go crazy, but in a complex manner, which actually might include 2 of the characters that me and you discussed this month for singles. So,
okay. Yeah, there you go. But at any rate, ladies and gentlemen, so we are talking the sequel to John Wick. Basically, it's John Wick Chapter 2, and I like how they call it chapters, not like just John Wick 2. Like it's basically like you said, the book of John Wick. So like this is John Wick's story. The poor man just wanted to retire. He just wanted to retire. Yeah. And then unfortunately, he had the douchebag son in the first movie who not only stole his car but killed his dog. It wasn't just his dog, but it was the final gift from his late wife, basically, so that way he was didn't have to mourn her death alone. And this son of this Russian mafia boss took that away from him, so he goes on this little vengeance spree. But who can blame him? Pretty much, he goes on this vengeance spree to get the guy who killed his dog. Basically, ultimately, killed the son. This movie I love opens up with Aurelio, basically John Leguizamo's character from the first movie. We're not really going to talk about him, but we find out that he's helped John Wick track down his car. Yeah. So I love that. I love the opening, and we're going to go into that because we hear the pencil story again, and it has a payoff in this movie. It actually has a payoff in this movie, so it's not just a story. But anyway, and before I say hello to the chat, there was a line. I wanted to use it on the thumbnail, but I thought would have made it a little too busy in terms of the quotes. But my favorite quote in this entire movie is, "You stabbed the devil in the back."
Yep.
My favorite quote in the entire movie from Winston. Like Winston says it basically, "You stabbed the devil in the back."
Yeah.
I'm ready for the Wickening. Yes. Hello, Gravy D. Good to see you. Mike Hill. Are you here for the Pope? I love that line. I love that line too.
Yeah.
From Julius, played by Franco Nero. Basically, because we go. Basically, there's continentals in every country, which is why I said I think the Continental show could have worked in terms of a mini series each season, because there's continentals on every continent in just about every country, and he goes to the one that's one of the ones that's in Italy because his task takes him to Rome, basically. So it's at least the one in Rome.
So that was Franco Nero who played Julius.
That was Franco Nero, yeah.
Okay, because I was discussing during my last theme stream, Star Wars and stuff, of one of my friends, Junebug. He's like, Franco Nero, if they ever do a live action for Old Republic, they should do Franco Nero as Valkorion. And I'm like,
he could work.
I don't know who Franco Nero is, but now that I know who Franco Nero is,
now that you've seen him,
it's
he
like,
could work.
Son of a bitch, that could work.
Yeah, like Franco Nero could work.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be excited for it because of what Disney did, but if I were still excited and they were respectful to the Old Republic, yes, Franco Nero definitely, in terms of looks, could pull off Valkorion, basically. Like
definitely.
Just about perfect. And Trey, I still say, I don't know why you, Cream, and Mr. T punish yourselves with watching AEW. Because you're saying your comment below is you're going to lurk because you're doing a watch party or watch along of AEW. Why do you guys torture yourselves? No one cares about that shit. Just watch SmackDown and Raw, maybe NXT or whatever. Stop watching AEW. No one gives a shit. Anyway, back to that.
I'm going to quote Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z Abridged when he's about to fight Raccoon. Wrestling's fake.
My answer to that is
podcast.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
My response to that is the storyline is scripted. The actual wrestling is real. So it's like those are real injuries. I know but people will go, wrestling's fake, right? Oh, really? How far up your ass did you pull that comment? We haven't heard that.
Because the Barroom podcast that I'm on every Tuesday night, it's like, we sometimes talk wrestling, and I always drop that fucking line. It's like, wrestling's fake. Justify it.
Yeah. Conroy, hello. Jaluk, good to see you. No worries with the lurk. Soul Assassin. And I saw that Conroy answered it. Yes, the movie, the Betty Davis clip is all about Eve. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it if you can find it. It is a good movie to watch. Let's see. Oh yes, we break the rules here, excommunicado. And Winston did something that's normally he would not do, but he made an exception in John Wick's case, and we'll talk about that.
Although he did show that he could easily do it the other way if he needed to, which we'll talk about that when we get to it. That was was really cool. Sorry, I nearly burped.
Let's see. Gigawatt, hello. Everyone knows that it is under the table where crap really gets done. Yes. Hey, Gigawatt.
Gravy D, I shall find you, and I will shove a pencil up your ass for that comment.
Hey, Xavier Pierce, good to see you. Yeah, we'll talk about that because that pencil story does have a payoff. As well as a story that the Bowery King says, because there is a payoff to that as well.
Yep.
As again, one of the few times in recent Hollywood movies where there is a setup and a payoff. So, but anyway, let's talk John Wick Chapter 2. And I wish I could play these parts because it's okay. This is gonna automatically start playing. I got to pause it again, but I stopped it on this scene because it's kind of like a summation in this part, a little bit of what transpired in the first movie, because this is the uncle of the nephew in the first movie, basically, And I love this actor. A lot.
Peter
I love
Stormare.
this.
I love
Yeah.
that man too.
Yeah,
It's like
love
if I
him.
was gay, I would marry him.
So, and he's recounting basically why they're in the situation they're in, because like why he's worried, and it's like because my nephew killed a dog,
Stole a car,
and he stole a car. Yes.
Yeah, or the other way around. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's talking to his right-hand man in this scene. And I love that at one point the right-hand man is like, why don't we just give it back?
Yeah, right.
Why don't we just give it? Because he's talking about he stole a car that's currently in our inventory. So basically, the uncle has the car, John Wick's car,
Yeah.
and we find out a little bit later that Aurelio's helped John Wick track it down. So the chase scene before this, that's kind of like occurring at the same time he's having this conversation, is like realize. Hold on, hold on.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. My dog has to go out. So you, I guess, entertain the chats, and I'll be right back.
We'll definitely entertain the chat. So yes, folks, because my fucking nephew killed a dog and stole a car that it so happens which currently is among our inventory. So yes, folks, I love Peter Stormare. The dude is just fucking gold standard of acting. He is literally the best. He is the best Lucifer ever. And I mean, he was in an episode of CSI that was just so freaking hilarious. Because, oh my God, he played the owner of this hotel that this prize fighter was had 7 or 8 different causes of death. And one of them was was due to an allergic reaction. His throat started swelling because Peter Stormare's wife gave him fellatio, and she had shellfish, which the guy was allergic to. And then somebody else tried killing the guy while his throat was swelling up and ended up keeping the guy alive because the crossbow bolt that the guy shot him with went through the swell, which allowed him to breathe. And then, it's like, what the fuck? So then he just lights a cigarette and breathes his last breath on the pool deck. But yeah, Peter Stormare and his wife end up going to jail for attempted murder. But yeah, oh my God, this dude has played in so many great roles. And I love him in this one too. He played a good Satan. Yes, he did. Liked him in Prison Break. Yeah. Constantine too he needs to come back as Lucifer. Yes, he definitely does. It is interesting that Chapter 3 is the only one that has a subtitle. Yeah, I will fully admit it, but it's well worth it because it was definitely a reason for it. Civis Pacem Parabellum, which is if you want peace, prepare for war. But yeah, oh my God, if you guys don't watch the original CSI, definitely watch the original CSI just to watch that episode. I can't remember what season it is, but Peter Stormare is in a season of CSI in that one episode. Oh my God, it's just fucking hilarious. Because the coroner is literally going down the list of different ways this guy could have died. And all of them just culminate to him lighting a cigarette and smoking it and then just dying. Anyone ever watched the Batman cartoon? I think I have a while back. A little bit of it. I mean, I think that's the one with the Joker with the wild hair, with the like Raditz hair. But yeah, not now, or not how you pronounce Stormare, you fucker. Okay, how do you pronounce it, Stieg? Good to see you, by the way, Steve, or everybody. Steve Kenobi is awesome. Is it? Yeah, Storm Air. I don't know. How do you do it, Bob? Yes, that's the one. Yeah. 9mm parabellum is rimless centerfire cartridge for pistols and submachine gun pistols. It's also known as the 9mm Luger. Yeah. I mean, John Wick is so skilled that he can fucking Frankenstein. The E is pronounced as the E in end. Stormara. Okay. Stormare. All right. Yeah. Stormara. Yeah. Stormara. All right. I guess Stormara. End. All right. Stormare. Stormara. Am I getting it right, Steve? But yeah, if a nope, still wrong. Okay, well, I tried. I had to walk away for a bit. I guess Mara is taking her dog. Yes, American capitalist pig. Yes, we are capitalist pigs. But if anyone or a person who can Frankenstein a revolver, let it be known that there is a reason why that kind of person is somebody I would never want to fuck with. John Wick Frankenstein's a revolver in Chapter 3. So, yeah. That's pretty freaking cool. Bird of Hermes is my name. Eating my wings to keep myself tame. And yep. Smash the like button. Yes, smash that like button, folks. Just like good, bad, and ugly. Yeah. Oh, now I don't want people going on my phone. What the hell, man? Doesn't matter what the bounty is. I wouldn't be crazy enough to go after John Wick. Well, here's the thing. If the high table sends, or that's the thing that was established in the third movie, but also preset in this movie, which is if a high table member sets a bounty, apparently, it's required. It is it is a law that you must abide by going through, which I'm leaving now, going to watch more Black Sails. Okay, have fun, Stieg. Have a good night, brother. My brother from a Viking mother. But yeah, apparently it's a law that you must adhere to try to collect a bounty if it's from the high table. So if I set a bounty, because I am high table orange hat here, if I set a bounty, you motherfuckers better go get it. And I'm going to set a bounty on Mara to make her appear in the next 15 seconds. So I will give her, or I will put the bounty at 2 shillings. Well, didn't work, so I lose 2 shillings. If it is required, is that not a bounty at that point, but an order? It's a bounty considering that you are gaining a bounty or a reward for the no one ever gave her $20. I believe I've done, or I did a $20 super chat to her when she got monetized. Half a penny. Yeah, right. Okay, so let's see here. In the next, I don't know, minute, Mara will be back with us. Yep, she will be back. She is coming into her room right now. She's sitting down right now, putting on her headphones right now, and getting ready to turn on the camera. Any second now. In 3, 2, 1. Nope, I am not omniscient, folks. Last stream. She doesn't wear headphones. That is true. She doesn't wear headphones. I've always wondered what the deal is with that. I'm old-fashioned, by the way. Carla, just like Good, Bad, Ugly. Last stream. But yeah, I was watching a little bit of Helsing Ultimate, or rather, somebody did a nice edit where he arrives in London, and it's to the AMV of "With Great Power," which is it's like, damn, that is awesome. But I wear earplugs during her streams. Oh, nice. She doesn't wear headphones, but I wear earplugs. Yeah, these are Bluetooth ones that I got for a Christmas gift. And hey, Jarrell, good to see you. Take the ear cups off and remove the foam inserts. No, they're comfy. But yeah, getting back to Stormare. During this scene, folks, I mean, the whole time that John is just wreaking havoc in this whole fucking scene, I love that Stormare is just like looking up in his seat and his eyes are like, just listening to all the freaking havoc, and his eyes are darting back or left and right like, oh my God, what the hell is going on? But yeah, I also like Stormare and sorry, Stieg, Stormare or Stormara or whatever. I liked Peter there. I liked Peter in the movie The Last Stand with Arnold Schwarzenegger, where he also has a rather huge fucking old-fashioned, very strong pistol. I mean, he also gets his ear blown off too by a 50 cal pistol through the bottom of a bus. So yeah, that's also something. That's pretty cool. But yeah, yeah. How do you know she doesn't wear headphones? Well, she doesn't wear headphones, but she probably has earbuds. She has longer hair. Me, I don't. I'm going bald underneath this cap. So yeah, I look more like a sports announcer or a hunter or something like that. His death in Lost World was pretty good too. Yeah, a lot of people forget that he was in Lost World. He played the jackass with the cattle prod. What was his name? RJ? No, yeah. Yeah. OHR is help. Yeah, it's Alucard arrives with great power. It is absolutely freaking 4 minutes 17 seconds of pure cool or pure awesomeness. He was the prick with the cattle prod. Now, you want to know what's funny, folks? There was this guy that tried doing road rage on a bunch of grandmas in Texas, and one of them actually had a cattle prod that and the others were kicking him and hitting him with their canes. One of the old ladies had a cattle prod and just started shocking the shit out of the guy too. That guy would never commit road rage ever again. Especially when
I came back to an interesting story.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
well,
sorry.
We were talking about cattle prods because Stormare used the cattle prod in Lost World.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Like my dog is elderly, so her bowels are on a schedule pretty much at this point. Anyway, so it's like, yeah, like I said, speaking of dogs, as you were talking about what this character's nephew did in the first movie, my dog decided she had to go. But anyway, so basically, I love like he's recounting the story, and he's recounting also, and he starts kind of recounting the fact that John Wick killed 3 men with a pencil in a bar, and the right hand man's, I guess I've heard the story.
Yeah, I heard the story.
Yeah, what I love about what this character kind of adds to that is like what you've heard, like I guarantee it's been watered down.
Yeah,
like, oh my God, just adds to the mythos of this character.
Yep. I mean,
So
it's like, whatever you heard about
what
this
do you
now.
think of this entire segment to include the chase, basically? Because
The chase, the fights, oh my god. This whole thing is good, mind you. Even without Peter's even without cutting to Peter as he's listening to his entire operation basically getting dismantled by Wick,
yeah,
because I love how they cut to him and he's just, his eyes are darting left and right like, oh my god, what is going on?
he's basically. I
It
think like
just
I love like
works.
look on his face that he's anticipating at some point Wick is going to like come
up to
for
him,
me,
yeah.
basically. Like, and
And
he's
he
hearing
couldn't do anything.
no, and he says the same line from the first movie. Basically, the John Wick is a man of what's the first
Commitment or
commitment,
man
focus,
of focus,
commitment,
commitment, sheer
and
will.
sheer, and he's like sheer fucking will.
Yeah.
And each word basically is like you see Wick killing one of his men, basically.
Yep. And I love that too, because I also that was turned into a meme, and I use it so freaking. It's like, yeah, but I can actually, or I have that saved as a meme. He's a man of focus, commitment, and sheer fucking will.
Yeah. Sheer fucking
I
will.
heard Stormare did this scene as a favor to Keanu. Yeah, probably. I wouldn't doubt it, Gigawatt. My dad saw a guy get shocked by a cattle prod on the leg. The guy fell down, pissed himself, and couldn't walk for a few minutes. Well, here's the thing:
Your muscles are contracted at that point, so it's like you're like, so
you get a few thousand volts in you, your body just lets go of anything. If you're or if you have a full bladder, it's empty. If you have a ass full of shit, well, it's about to stink in that room. Let's just say that. I mean, your body's basically had a reset button from a short circuit. But back to this. Yeah. I love how he comes in. He comes up the stairs, and Stormare's just sitting there like, and then he just pours the drink. He doesn't know what to do. It's like, if I move, is he going to kill me? Until he says peace in Russian. He's like, can a man like you ever know peace?
Yeah,
I love that question. Yeah,
and it's like all John Wick can do is nod, because I think deep down like there's no, he's tried to know peace for a little bit. He knew peace, like when he left what he did for retired because he wanted to live with the woman he loved. So he at least knew a little bit of peace, but then he had some asshole come in and kill the one thing he had left that reminded him of his wife because of what she left him, and then his car, and well, now he's back in. And but because word gets around fast, he's approached by someone else, and we'll get to that basically. And I think again, the villain for me is was the weakest part, and that's part of the reason why I think this makes this the weakest edition.
It's because of what he is, not who he is, but what he is. He's basically a jealous, pompous prick.
I know. So I'm saying that's for it's there was at least it was a Russian mob boss in the first one, but he was entertaining. And this guy
here, spoiled Italian jealous dipshit.
Brat. He basically is a spoiled brat. He's jealous of his sister because the dad left his seat at the high table to his sister rather than to him. So I'm going to have my sister get killed so I can get get what I want. That's pretty much the motivation for that character. So I'm I think because of that, it kind of for me, this is the weakest edition in the franchise.
Mike Hill, when it comes to Ruby Rose, we'll get to her, or I'll actually address that when we get to her, because the character of Ares, I'm not fond of the name because, well, Ares is obviously
it's a male god, so
yeah, it's a male god of war, but and she is anything but that. I mean, this movie does a good job at showing that a man versus woman is no contest.
Yeah, which is what, and I think now. To be fair to Ruby Rose, this is one of her best roles because she doesn't talk.
Right.
So I will give
mean,
her this is one of her best roles.
Ever since that Batwoman role, oh my god, it's like, no offense, Ruby. I liked you in the Meg. I mean, you did a good job in the Meg. She does a good job if she has a good director and a good writer.
Yeah.
Bad writer in Batwoman.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. And I will agree with this. Like, her character also wasn't intimidating.
No.
It really wasn't intimidating at all. So it's like, that's like, again, like, I think, like, again, it centers around the villains in this movie, which is what, to me, makes it the weakest addition in the, like, the IP franchise.
Yeah.
But anyway, so,
thing is, I did,
yeah.
Let's.
Where's Aurelio? I can't play like the chase, but when I like come like when Aurelio comes in.
Go back a little bit.
Yeah.
And right there, yeah.
Oh, okay, hold on. An ad's gonna play, so I'm gonna stop sharing the screen, let it play. Yeah, I love this about
yeah, I love Aurelio in this one.
It's like, it's like, I thought you loved this car.
I thought you loved this car.
This car.
I mean,
like,
I can fix it.
Like, what do you think? Well, the engine's about to fall off.
Yeah.
Or fall out.
Yeah. I mean, like, holy shit, man.
I was like, that's what I was saying. Like, it's like when John Wick like throws off the cover on his car, he recognizes the shape of his car, so he throws like the cover off and he gets in. It's like, that is a nice car. Then the whole chase scene happens where he's taking out like all the henchmen with his car, with the guns and so forth. I'm like, was a nice car.
Yeah, right. And he never got it back because, well, what happens at the end of this movie?
Yeah. So, because, well, we'll get to that. And then he will never get his car back
taken from him
because of what happens.
Yep. But
unless he steals it back, which is what he wouldn't most likely wouldn't do that.
Well, he'd be way too busy because he's busy fucking dodging everybody in the third one.
I know. So.
As for Ruby
Still
Rose,
ad playing. Why is there like nearly 2 fucking minutes of commercials, Hulu? Come on.
Right.
Anyway. But yeah. And yeah, he will never get his car back. Mm-hmm.
All right, getting back to Aurelio though, but before we get to Ruby Rose, Aurelio, let's do this in order. It was a bit part in this one, not as big as not as much screen time in this one than the last one, but it's enough screen time to get the point across. It's like, I could do this. Yeah. Expect it back Christmas 2040.
Yeah. Yeah, Christmas, he's looking at the car like, because it's like 2017, like 2030. So give me a decade and a half, pretty practically, and I'll have your car back.
Oh, yeah, 2030, yeah.
But like, then he's looking at this. But like, again, like Aurelio was also the one that helped John Wick track his car down.
Yeah.
So like, again, like with not go, like, we don't exactly get the entire feel for how powerful his character is, but at least shows you that he has enough pool that he was able to make a few calls and get that information for John Wick. So he's not just like a lackey who fixes up cars with phony papers and things like that. No, he's actually in a prominent position within the order itself.
Until shit goes south. But
until shit goes out.
Because in a deleted scene in the third one, the adjudicator visits him.
So.
And it's like, shit. Mm-hmm. But yeah, in this one, it's good. He's brought in to like kind of be a little bit of a resolution of that character.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's not in the third one or fourth one. I do believe. Yeah.
No, I mean, if they had kept the deleted scene, he would have been in the third one. But as it stands, I don't remember his character being at all in the third one. Definitely wasn't in the fourth one.
Yeah, I could have it fixed by 2030. Or Christmas 2030.
Yeah, I hate that.
And it gives him like what, a handful of fucking coins for it,
which is a nice, pretty penny. You get for fixing up the car,
like
so
$80,000.
Yeah.
Although it probably cost a little bit more than that.
Yeah. But
Because as we discussed last week, folks, one of those coins is worth 10 grand.
yeah. So, like, this is basically all like you always see of Aurelio in this movie, and again, I'm so giddy because I love pit bulls, so I like him. So I get giddy when I see the pity in the movie.
Giddy
Like,
when she
he,
sees the
he
pit.
likes the pit. He lets the pity sleep on the bed with him. I'm like, I do that with my doggo, so she sleeps on the bed with me. But let me get to like a pause like scene where we see.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, so I was trying to get like a better shot of the bad guy there.
Right there.
So this
Yeah,
like
there
again,
you go.
like he is okay. His name is Santino. Sorry, Santino.
Santino.
Yeah, Santino.
D'Antonio.
So yeah. So, his family is part of the High Table. There's basically the different factions that make up the High Table, and his father was at the High Table. His father is since deceased, and bequeathed his seat, not to Santino, but to Santino's sister Gianna.
Mhm.
And I'm watching Santino, and then I watched Gianna, and I'm like, there's a fucking reason, dude, why he did that.
Yeah. She's extremely brutal and efficient, where
Yes.
he is spoiled and diplomatic.
Yeah. And like again,
I mean,
like
you actually,
his whole motivation is it's like the
it's
whole
what I want.
sibling jealousy, basically.
Yeah. And getting to the marker, because that is an important thing in this.
Yeah.
A marker is, or there's two major rules under the table. Every mark, or no blood on continental grounds, and every marker must be honored.
Yes.
If you give a marker to somebody, you are bound by a blood oath.
Well, literally, because they have to leave a blood imprint in the marker.
Yep.
So it's like you are bound to that marker.
To do whatever they deem you to do,
and
even
that's
if
why
it is a forbidden
that's why this
offense.
man takes full advantage of that, basically.
Yeah.
Because as kind of explained through conversation in this movie, Santino helped John Wick with his impossible task. What that task is, we don't know, but Santino helped him with it. And because Santino helped him with it, John Wick did that whole marker with his bloody thumb imprint, so John Wick owed him.
Yeah.
So
he's another spoiled mob kid. Soul Assassin, yes, it is true. He is another spoiled mob kid, except this dude has pull where Yosef never did. Yosef wasn't even fully integrated into the life.
No, like this man
he was basically just a spoiled enforcer.
Like this is the amount of pool that this man has. He can call accounts payable, which is basically to set up a hit on whomever, and he offered 7 million. That's how much pool this family has. So
yeah, he's part of the Italian mafia known as Camorra.
Yeah.
By the way.
So he's a high chair at the high table, yeah. I would say it also rule for snipers because you're spilling blood on continental ground. So even if you yourself are not in the continental, the person you kill is in the continental.
Yeah, that's why Winston warned him instead of shot him.
Yeah. So no matter where the killing shot is coming from, if blood is spilled on continental grounds and it's figured out who did it, you're excommunicado. That's pretty much how it works.
And make no mistake, folks, the high table will find out.
Yeah. So I will say for the whole organization, word gets around.
Mm-hmm.
Word does get
around.
And
he even tells him, it's like, if you would have stayed retired, I wouldn't be here. But you came back, and there are consequences.
Mm-hmm.
It's as Winston said, you dip so much as a pinky back in this pond, you'll find something reaches out and pulls you back in.
Mm-hmm.
This is what reaches out and pulls John back in.
Yeah. And this man, And I was worried for a bit when this with this whole situation happened because again, anything happens to an animal, I'm like,
Yeah,
but
the
this
grenade
man
launcher.
destroys John Wick's house
Yeah. He
because John Wick
fucking
says
shoots
no.
multiple grenades.
Yeah. John Wick says no. John Wick just hit. In John Wick's mind, basically, at least at this point, of I'm going to try to play a little bit of psychologist. Is I came back in just long enough to get my vengeance. I'm done. I got my car. I got the guy who killed my dog and stole my car. I got my car back. All right, I'm done with that family. So to John Wick, he's done again. He's retired.
Yeah. And he even just finished repaving all of his shit back under his house, burying his old life again. He just got done burying that when this dude pulls up.
Yeah.
And, it's like,
and now he's lost everything.
Yeah. Now
he's lost everything. So I love when he goes to the Continental and to see Winston, basically. Where's Santino? Where's Santino? And I want to get a shot of one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
All right.
Let me see if I can get a shot. I think it's right here. When he just looks, because John Wick has left his dog, and this is one of my favorite. I just had to get a still of that.
Yeah. I know, right? It is so goddamn cute. He's like, so what am I going to do with you?
Yeah. Because, the conversation that John Wick has with Winston, Winston tells him basically, you have to honor the marker. Regardless of, what your feelings are, you have to honor the marker. So, John, I love, this. We'll talk about, the scene with Winston in a little bit. But when John Wick comes back, he's like, do you board? It's like, oh, no, unfortunately, we are not, basically, we don't do that. We're not equipped for that.
Not. Yeah.
But I am. But basically, Caron accepts it.
But I will. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take on the responsibility.
Yeah. So I'm like, no.
That's how. That's how much he respects him, though. That's how much Sharon respects him.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm willing to bet there's a history there.
Yeah. Granted, there are some aggressive pit bulls, but for the most part, pit bulls, pit bulls that I've encountered, my dog, has part pit bull. They are some of the nicest breeds of dogs. Basically, I think they get loyal. A bad rap. Yeah, and they're needy as fuck. They have separation anxiety. This my dog will still sometimes howl if she thinks she's alone. Basically, but and I love German Shepherds also. German Shepherds are considered basically less aggressive than pit bulls by most people. There's a German Shepherd I see being walked by its owner fairly, often enough, and this dog will go after other dogs, people. This German Shepherd is aggressive.
That's because German Shepherds also have what's known as the vengeance gene. They have long memory, folks. German Shepherds. There's a thing that actually happened in Germany where a German Shepherd skipped lanes of traffic to attack a person who had struck his owner years prior, 6 or 7 years prior. That dog recognized him, skipped 4 lanes of traffic, and freaking went after that guy.
Yeah.
So,
say about most dogs is the loyalty. And I've seen meaner Chihuahuas also than pit bulls.
Oh my God. My aunt had a Chihuahua that tore up a $70 pair of jeans that I had on because it didn't want me to leave. I'm like, well, I like you too, but I'm gonna turn you into fucking dog chops if you ever do that again to my jeans.
Yeah. And we just conversation with Winston and that's what you agree to, John. So basically, Winston is the voice of reason in this movie. And he and Julius both call him Jonathan. So there's some familiarity, basically. Not necessarily that they like he's related to either one of them, but there's like basically a relationship John Wick has with both Winston and Julius, where they kind of like father figures to him.
You want to know what I think it is?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's literally because John Wick is a bit of Keanu Reeves is John Wick just as much as John Wick is Keanu Reeves, because Keanu Reeves is a genuinely nice person, folks. To get a little bit off topic here, this dude, when they got waylaid at LAX for a flight, he literally paid for an entire tour, did a tour bus, and did tour guide for everybody there. That's how nice of a man this is. So I'm guessing John Wick's character also has that nicety to him, where he is gentlemanly when he is not in Baba Yaga mode. So he's built up a rapport of being a genuinely nice guy, except when it comes time to kill.
Yes,
that's when he is Baba Yaga.
Yeah, genuinely nice guy, but brutally efficient when it comes to killing, basically.
Yeah.
Because when he gets to the point where he has to kill Gianna, technically he does it, but technically also he doesn't, because he doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
In a sense, like he does not want to do it, because he actually has a conversation with her.
Mm-hmm.
Like he doesn't just come in and shoot her or anything like that. So it's like again to the point where it's like he's bound by this marker, and even she realizes he's basically bound by a marker, so he has no choice.
Yep. And she also knows the story because she's like, what was her name? Who? The woman who's cost me my life.
Yeah.
Because she knows that John got out.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, or so he tells her, Helen. And I like how she says the name Helen, because she said it's basically a very plain name compared to somebody with a name like Gianna.
Yeah.
Gianna is exotic. Helen is, well, yeah. In Troy, it would be one hell of a name.
Technically, he still had to do it because he's bound by the marker. If he'd left no trace of killing her, like it was obvious that she slit her wrists, he would have still been bound by the marker. He would not have completed his task. So technically, that's why I said technically yes and no. He because that's why he shot her in the head.
Her life was fading.
Yeah.
He just he snuffed a dying flame is what he did.
Yeah, but then again, like also, it's like if he left her as is without leaving any trace of, let's say, the gunshot wounds.
Yeah.
It would not have it's like no matter what he said, he didn't kill her.
It would have reached a high table. He didn't honor the marker.
Yeah.
If he left her dead, and no bullet, no.
So basically, it was like he had to do it to honor the marker, and it was also a mercy killing at that point because her life was fading. And just end it just end it there.
And I like how they upgraded the ballistic shielding in suits. The guy or the weapons dude. Fun fact, folks: the guy who is the weapons sommelier, in this movie.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to him.
Yeah, he's the original voice of Darth Maul.
Oh yeah, the actor. I can never remember how to pronounce his fucking last name because it's one of those weird ass last names.
Yeah.
But the first movie I ever saw him in was Shaun of the Dead. So he has a very distinctive voice. Like I'll hear his voice and going, "That's that guy." Like I know him basically.
Yeah.
He was also in Parks and Recreation. He was in the first Guardians of the Galaxy. So he's around quite a bit, basically. But he's like a small part, but memorable part in this movie. And like I said, Chad, this is Julius. So we're now in the Continental in Rome.
Yep. And
he also has basically a familial type of relationship with Julius. So where it's there's that level of respect. I love the question Julius has. He doesn't. Julius doesn't care to know John Wick's business there. It's but just answer one question: are you here for the Pope?
No.
No. Okay. I it's just a little bit of humor. There's a little bit of humor there.
Well, yes, it's a humorous moment, but here's the thing: he's I'll give you this car to our finest penthouse. After he receives that no answer. If he would have been if he was there for the Pope,
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you, Julius would have said, "Get out. You're on your own."
Yeah. So.
That's the
But
one
anyway.
thing that they take very seriously.
Yeah. So, but John Wick says no, and we're not going to go into I'm not going to show stills of every place he goes to, but he goes to basically it shows you all the connections.
Mm-hmm.
This
to get his
entire
job done.
operation has basically. He goes to one gentleman who shows him the catacombs, basically how he to work to find his way underground so he's not seen. Obviously, going to wherever Gianna is, going to this it's a sweatshop basically, but it's also a front for specifically tailor-made suits that include bulletproof lining. And he wants a day and evening suit, which I found funny. And then he goes for the weapons, and I love the coded language in this scene because it's it's almost describing a wine, wines for the evening.
Mm-hmm. I'd like a tasting, yeah.
Yeah, I'd like a tasting,
and I love that. Dessert. It's just he's just so proud that he said dessert. Peter Serafinowicz.
Sir, okay. This guy, like I said, it's the first movie I remember ever seeing him in was Shaun of the Dead, and that's way back in early 2000s. So this man has been around for a while.
Yep. The original voice of Darth Maul.
Yeah.
I will always know him as that.
Mm-hmm. And basically, I want something robust, precise. And
the Benelli M4.
Yes. So. Yeah. And so basically, I love the lead up to the scene, and we get to. I mean, I don't know what it is about Europeans. It's not exactly a rave, but at the same time, it's one of the most lackluster parts, raves or whatever you want to call it.
It's a what's the damn word? Ascendancy party. Not a commencement. God damn.
Yeah.
Coronation.
I know coronation. I know that, but it's one of the most one of the most lackluster parties, given what they the fact that they have a live performance and 2 DJs and things like that, and I'm the dancers. I'm are you half asleep? Is this supposed to be a party here? And Common was another one that was I don't even know. Didn't even bother to look up his real name, basically. But the rapper Common.
Yeah.
I was also kind of getting pushed around that time, along with Ruby Rose, into into certain projects. I'm but in this one, I think it kind of worked for him, just because his character is supposed to be very stoic. So when he's delivering his lines, in this sense, it works, and he's the head bodyguard for Gianna. We'll kind of get into talking about him, but here's the scene.
Well, not just he wasn't just the bodyguard. I mean, he was tapping that. Let's just say that, folks. He was tapping that.
It's implied, basically, but
yeah.
But in terms of his official role, let me see if I can get a shot of
she was his ward.
Yeah.
As he says, Lonnie Rashid Lynn is his real name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, because of what John Wick does, his name is Cassian.
Mm-hmm.
Takes upon himself to to seek vengeance, which entirely plausible scenario.
Very understandable.
But I really love this scene between Gianna and John Wick, because Gianna, she's not only finding out that John Wick has come because of a marker, but she's finding out it's a marker because of her, that her brother, it's from her brother. Her brother is behind this. Her own brother is behind this, which is, it's not the look on her face where it's not surprising, but at the same time it still hurts, because it's you can see basically the look of pain on her face, it's that she's has no choice but to accept her fate at this in this conversation, but they still talk. And during the conversation, she actually strips down and gets into the bathtub and
Not a bad body.
slits her wrists. And she says, it's like basically she's choosing how she's going to die. So she's like, she still wants to maintain a level of control, even up to her death. And she's asking, like, John Wick, like the gist of this entire conversation, like, was it worth it? Like,
yeah.
Well, like asking the name of Helen and things like that. Like, was this all what you left the order for? Which is also like now the reason why you're being drawn back in. Was it worth it?
Mm-hmm.
And I like this is one thing I like about this movie, where it's like, yeah, like I'm not impressed with the villains in this movie, but at the same time, it like does add at least a layer to John Wick's story, to John Wick's character, where it's not just a simple vengeance tale. It's like now he's really wrestling with the psychological implications of him returning to the fold, essentially. That's what I like about this. That's what I like about this conversation. So he's like,
mm-hmm. And I also like how. Because he's when she starts cutting her wrist, he's like, "Why?" Because I'm going out my way.
Yeah.
And I do kind of wonder, because yes, there's easily a way that they could have John Wick could have tried to bullshit his way through it. Sure, I cut her wrist to make her die slow. I don't know, or something like that, because that would be Baba Yaga.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if members of the High Table, if they have what's known as a suicide record, meaning if they are to kill themselves, they would speak, or they would give a specific reason that would be on record in case it had to happen.
They never really go into that.
That would be
and
something
maybe he could have
interesting.
bullshit. Yeah, maybe he could have bullshit his way through, but at the same time, it's like there would have been a lot of explanation as to how he got her to do it, even at gunpoint. Like, how'd you get her? It's like that's why it's like I see like the simple thing would have been what he did: one shot, clear evidence that while it wasn't the yes, she was yes, she was fading because she had slit her wrists. That was ultimately the killing shot. So he honored the marker.
Yeah. And I like how he talks with Cassie. And he's like, "You working again? Yeah. Good night. Braid so."
Yes.
And that's all that needed to be said, because why else would John Wick be there?
Yeah. And one thing I'll point out, and I'm not advocating people do this, but she actually slit her wrist the proper way, because normally see people do this across the wrist, and if you actually want to bleed out, you do the long ways down.
Yeah.
So I'm not advocating for people to do it, but at the same time, it's kind of a stickler for accuracy. They showed she actually slit her wrist properly.
It's the effective way. The effective way.
So, but
you're
anyway,
ensuring demise there.
Yes. Yeah. So and.
Oh, believe me, Conrad, I hate it too. I fast forward through it.
Yeah. So not only is John Wick having to contend with Cassian, which I'm going to jump ahead a little bit, because he and Cassian get into a fight, which ultimately has him flying through the window of the Continental.
That was great. It's like, gentlemen.
He's like, "Need I remind you?"
Yeah. Gentlemen.
Yes, I love Franco.
Julius.
I love when Franco Nero comes in. "Gentlemen, need I remind you?"
Yeah. It was such a great moment.
Might I say just the bar where you can cool off?
Yeah.
And you can tell Cassian and John Wick know each other, because John Wick is like, "Jin, wasn't it?"
Yeah.
And Cassidy's like, you're right.
Yeah.
Bourbon, wasn't it?
Right?
Yeah.
Bourbon, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aries, by the way, folks. There was a comment earlier. Aries.
Yeah, let me
wasn't
see if
that
I can get a shot
intimidating.
of her because basically Santino double crosses Wick.
You're gonna have to go through ads, by the way.
It might pause it because after the play ads play. Let me see because he
Yeah.
sees her in this hotel.
Yeah, she's right behind during the bar, right there.
Yeah.
Having a tough night.
Yeah.
But one of the things about her in the catacombs where he shot his way out, she shot the people that got in front of her. She is that locked on to Wick. That tells me that this bitch is complete psychotic. She will shoot the men in her way to make sure that she kills Wick.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Ancient One, good to see you.
Yeah. So hello, Ancient One, and again point out that it actually has a believable fight between her and John Wick, and that when it comes to physical confrontation, doesn't matter how much of a bitch you are, doesn't matter how much of a psycho you are in terms of females, you are no match physically for a man.
Yep.
Her character, I will give her that, she held her own, or at least for a little bit, because she is fast. But when it came down to strength, she had there's no way that she was going to win that fight.
I mean, she tried stopping his hand when he had her pull knife or her jab knife or whatever they call that thing. And it goes right through her hand, and she's like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah,
trying to hold him back.
But he has the strength to push it into her, basically. So it's like again, believable. Where it's like, yeah, she's tough, but reality is she's not going to be able to hold her own against no matter John Wick's notwithstanding any man in a physical confrontation.
I mean, unless the man is smaller than her.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
with cancer.
But even then, men have a natural muscle physique that I would say she probably would still have lost.
Yeah.
But so basically what happens is Santino betrays John Wick, and he's still smarmy enough to go yeah, I understand you're upset. I understand you're upset, John, but you have to understand that I have to basically avenge my sister's death.
What kind of brother would I be if I didn't avenge my sister?
Avenge my sister's death. So
yeah,
it's again,
and he hangs up on him. It's
so just the smarminess of the villain, basically. So John Wick just hangs up on him. So John Wick has to contend with Santino's men because Santino's trying to have him killed, had tried to have him killed through his own little cadre of henchmen. And then he put out a contract on Wick for $7 million, which went worldwide. So it's not not just confined to Rome. Basically, it was international. So no matter where John Wick went, and you saw basically what happened. I don't think they didn't really show it in the first movie, but in this movie you see how basically they hit send and it goes to every contact, every phone in their listing.
Yep. And I love how you see Sharon reacting to it, and it's like, oh shit.
Winston gets
just went wide.
Winston gets a notification. Julius got a notification. Aurelio even got a notification. So anyone within that organization, it's like contract $7 million hit on John Wick. Basically, it's basically the gist.
Yep.
So
and it's basically to let for people like Aurelio, Winston, and them to know. It's to let them know Wick is a target. Yeah. It's not for them to cash in on it. It's
I'm saying they know he's a target.
It's like, oh, okay, so now let the games begin.
Yeah. And so.
And I love that too, because Winston it's like, yeah, you may be a member of the fucking high table, but dude, you're gonna honor the fucking marker. He did
this conversation here, this is again this conversation here, because Winston has basically gone to see Santino, and it's John Wick honored the marker, you know, it's done. He's basically he's free.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is where like he says like one of the lines I love in this movie, like, probably my favorite line in the movie within this conversation is, "You stabbed the devil in the back."
Yeah.
Like basically now the monster is free of his
Consider-
maker. Now the monster is free of his maker.
Yeah. He's like, he did warn you.
Yeah.
You were warned. You incinerated the priest's temple, burned it to the ground.
Yeah.
And it's like, he was already back. Oh, he came back for love, not for you. But now he is back for you.
Yeah. And again, this Santino is still smart. Like, basically, is conceited enough to basically think that because he put out a hit internationally, that he has no fear. Essentially,
Yeah. It's like, I got an entire city looking for him.
Yeah,
that's cute.
One of them was
Remember
like a sumo wrestler sized hitman. I'm like, how?
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you sneak up on someone? One was a woman. Like, you actually see John Wick, if anything, is equal opportunity. It doesn't matter what size you are, what race you are, what sex you are, or anything like that. It's like he's defending himself, he will kill you. He killed a woman.
Pull up on him. Yeah.
Yeah, he killed he killed a woman, basically assassin.
Yep.
The sumo wrestler size assassin, and the two with a pencil. Again, the payoff.
Yep.
We actually see. I'm kind of like, we can't really show the scene.
Yeah.
But this part here.
That was the woman. This is the two with the pencil.
Yeah, two men with the we actually see a payoff to the whole story we heard about. He killed 3 men in the bar with the pencil. We see him kill 2 men here with the pencil
in a bar.
Yeah,
that's a that's a airport bar.
Yeah, and basically, so John Wick is going through this gauntlet of assassins to the point where he's being chased by these ones who are disguised as maintenance, basically janitors. So
yeah.
So I'm like, I love that. Want to see a magic trick? He makes his pencil disappear. And this is what again, and I'm not going to necessarily show what happens to Cassian basically, but Cassian is also following him. Cassian has made his basically followed John Wick from Rome back to New York.
Yeah. I also like the silencer conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, where they're shooting at each other with the silencers. That's a conversation, folks.
Oh yeah, when they're just walking and going like this, like pop, pop, pop. But at one point, they get into a fight on a subway train, and John Wick, while wounded, does get the better of Cassian and stabs Cassian in his aorta. But instead of killing Cassian, it's just it sounds funny with me saying that after I just said he stabbed him in his aorta. But he says you can either pull the knife out and kill me as I'm walking away in the back, basically, which means you'll die, or you can keep it in and live. So he gives Cassian a choice.
Consider it a professional courtesy.
Yeah, which is he's basically alluding back to what Cassian said about paying for the drinks. Consider it a professional courtesy when at Continental in Rome. And then we see John Wick as he's going running from this gauntlet of assassins. He gets to this man here.
Oh yeah, the homeless guy.
The homeless guy, because he's then he puts his gold coin into the homeless guy's cup, and I'm like, what's going on? And I'm like, well, I gotta take it back about 10 seconds. This is show because he hides John Wick. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Something's happening.
I want to see him. Tell him it's John Wick. It's like, okay, who is this? Why is a homeless dude knowing this?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. And who's the him that John Wick's referring to? So these guys are looking for Wick, come across this guy's, and I love this. Okay, he's has his hand here, and you got a quarter to pop up.
Now the great part about that, the great part about that is usually, folks, this is how you would see the scene play out. Hey, man, you got a quarter? Then pull and pop. No, this dude is literally drawing as he's saying a quarter.
Yeah.
That's true assassin.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that works. That I can believe. That is
Yeah.
well done.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh my God, they actually did it right. Because that's that's not giving them a second to notice. That's actually, oh God, what's the
Because
word?
they're basically off guard because they're listening to what he's
Yeah,
saying
complete off
instead of
guard.
watching what he's doing.
Yeah. It blended perfectly.
I mean, like they're
And it's
getting
like,
things like the writers for these movies are getting things right.
yeah, I mean, I would love you get special features on, or if you guys get these movies on like Fandango at home, you can see the special features and stuff, but they don't show you. I wish they would show in the writing room and the planning room, because that I want to know who comes up with that kind of thing. It's like,
Yeah.
hey man, you got a quarter, and it's like, oh shit, this dude did it while drawing.
Yeah. And then we see like the hymn that John Wick's referring to, and that is the Bowery King. That's like what Lawrence Fishburne's character is known as, the Bowery King. And here's basically the payoff again to what we see in this movie. They like basically this is like in reverse. Basically, we see what happens in the movie, and then we see kind of the payoff in terms of story that Bowery King says versus a story, and then like the actual witnessing the payoff. And Bowery King says like it's like the reason why he's in the situation he's in, or where like as the Bowery King of like this little faction, is because John Wick let him live.
Yeah.
It's like again, it's like because John Wick left him a scar. When I say him, I mean the Bowery King, a scar right here on his neck, and gave him a choice. You can either remove the pressure, like remove your hand, remove pressure from your neck and bleed out, but you'd kill me, but you die in the process also because you're bleeding out. Or you can keep the pressure and live.
John Wick, that just shows that John Wick has a merciful bone.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't need to kill you.
No.
So I'll give you a choice.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to kill me, but also kill yourself. So you won't be able to celebrate or get any sort of notoriety for killing me.
No. So, which is, again, like, again, it kind of like also harkens back to him letting Francis live with the coded language in the first movie, basically. Because John Wick could have easily killed him after getting the information, but because Francis was forthcoming with said information about the club,
yeah,
John Wick's it's like like take the night off because like I don't need to kill you. I don't need to kill you. If you get in my way, I'll kill you. But like he's not gonna like go out of his way to kill someone who doesn't, in John Wick's mind, at least like for the first movie, deserve it.
Yeah.
So.
And oh my God, when I saw who it was as the Bowery King, because I watched 1 and 2 back to back, folks. My brother recommended this movie to me, and I'm like, and then I see who the Bowery King is. I'm like, oh my fucking God, are you serious right now? And
I think Ares died because you kind of see her head go like this. I think she died.
Yeah, she was dead because he put that grip knife, that push knife, that's what they're called, push knives. He puts it through her hand, but also right into her chest, into her heart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she died. She definitely died after saying, "Be seeing you." And he's like, "Sure."
Yeah. So he like if it was at any point like if he was going to let her live, he would have said something like he did to Cassian, like he did to Bowery King. He just stabbed her and walked away. So he basically dealt her a killing blow.
Mm-hmm.
Which I would have done, because if he hadn't, she would have still come after him.
Yeah.
And I love, oh my God, this is probably one of my other favorite parts of this movie is when the Bowery King finds out what the payoff is, 7 million. He's like, damn, reading at Applebee's after.
Yeah. We're going to Applebee's after this. I love that. It's like, it's bad for your health. Or what? Your contract went wide, John. It's bad for your health.
Bad for your health.
What's it up to?
Like seven. The guy does this.
He's like, yeah. He's like,
Yep.
Oh,
Damn.
7 million. Damn. We're going to Applebee's
After this.
It's like, Applebee's, you got your shameless plug. Good job.
Yeah.
From Lawrence
Yep.
Fishburne. Love to you.
So, and like, ultimately, Bower King does help him in this movie. He helps him more in the third movie. But in this one, he gives John Wick a gun, basically, with 7 bullets. $1 million a bullet, as he puts it. $1 million a bullet.
$1 million a bullet, baby. I love that. Can somebody please get this man a gun?
Yes, and that's again, and like love about essentially accuracy and fight choreography and scenes with this movie, because John Wick is given a gun with 7 bullets, which forces him to take the guns off the men he kills, because he can't just reload. He doesn't have the unlimited ammo cheat like in some action movies, basically. So after he kills a henchman, he has to take the henchman's gun when he runs out of his own bullets. That I love this one too, because John Wick is telling him, because like we didn't talk about this in when we were talking about Gianna, but Gianna basically just about flat out tells Wick, now that my brother's going to have a seat at the high table, he's coming for New York.
Yep.
He's like coming to take all of you over. He wants New York.
You think he's just going to stop at 14th Street?
No. Yeah, because when John was talking to Bower King, he's like he's going to come for you. Like, you think he's going to stop here? No, he wants the entire operation here in New York. So he's like, you want a war, or do you just want to give me a gun? So a bit, smart decision would have been to give him a gun. A gun with only 7 bullets, but he gives him a gun.
Yeah. And I love that, because he hands the other guy the other magazine, and it's like, is he gonna, or he's not giving that to John? Because it's almost expected that the guy would give it to John, but nope, he keeps it in his pocket.
Yeah.
Soul Assassin, I wonder if they were tempted. Nope, they weren't. Halle Berry was actually tapped for the role.
Mm-hmm. So, but again, so John Wick now is like the first movie. He's a man of focus, commitment, and sheer fucking will. And his focus, commitment, and sheer fucking will is taking out Santino.
Yeah, I love when he actually gets there, and it literally is 7 bullets he fires out of that gun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm saying it's like accuracy. Like, there's no there's no it's like, oh, it's like trivia mistake here. He fires more than 7 rounds. No, he fired 7 rounds and then has to basically take guns as he's going along, killing the henchman of Santino as Santino's running away. Yeah. Basically, so John Wick comes for Santino during this little party that Santino was throwing, as well as basically an honor to mourn his dead sister. Yeah. So his coronation is also like a moment of silence for his dead sister that he had killed. So John Wick is coming for him.
Yeah.
And I think this is, hold on. The part of this one that I like was, how much I get shot? The mirrors.
All the mirrors.
Yeah. The one, I love all the lead up to it, because it was very well choreographed, very well shot, and it shows again that someone with knowledge of basically fight choreography and stunt work, basically, and knowing, not doing the whole fucking quick cuts and things like that, showing you what's happening as he's progressing, progressing through the museum to to his targets. This is my favorite part, was the fight within the mirrors, because the effect, the optical illusion the mirrors created and so forth.
Yeah.
And this is where also Ares has her last stand against John Wick. So she tells basically Santino to basically fuck off out of there. She'll take care of it. And I'm like, right. Yeah, you'll take care of it. But Ares, I don't know why I didn't watch any special features, but did they say why they picked that name for her? Because like I said, it's a male god's name.
No, they didn't.
Okay.
However, I can guess.
All right. What's your speculation?
every culture has an apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
And the apocalypse for Rome was from Greece was if Ares ever died, it would signal the end of an empire.
You broke up there and became robotic.
Well, with Ares dying in this, it actually signals the oncoming death of Santiago de Antonio.
Okay, well, you broke up there.
So it's somewhat of a symbolic gesture.
Okay, you broke up during that entire explanation. You kind of roboted. Hello?
Yeah, I'm guessing that happened because can you hear me?
Well, you're kind of roboting and you're freezing.
All right, so we'll be
Okay,
right back. Let me actually reset and let me reset.
All right.
I'll be right back.
All right, chat. Let's see when. Hold on. Let me just go forward.
Close. Am I back now, or is it clearer now?
Well, it seems to be clearer.
Okay. Is my audio good?
Yeah, it seems better now. So
okay.
So like this
so
is
basically Ares. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Every culture has an apocalypse, folks, and Ares in Greece would signify the death of, or Greece would fall if Ares fell, because Ares is a god of war, and Greece was a very war-centric nation.
Mm-hmm.
And with Ares falling would signal the end of an empire, essentially. That empire being she's connected to the Camorra or to D'Antonio. She is D'Antonio's second. So with the fall of Ares falls D'Antonio.
Okay.
It's essentially a symbolic gesture.
Okay. I can buy that.
That's my interpretation on that.
Hello, Jarrell. We're nearing the end. Of John Wick Chapter 2, and this is again, I like this. This is like again, to me, is the weakest of the franchise, but it's still a good. It's still a good watch. It's because of like the villains, and he gets to Santino, gets to the Continental. He's still a fucking smarmy son of a bitch. Basically, gets to Continental, and he's on safe ground. And he's mocking John Wick. A man can stay here a long time.
Yeah.
And not eat the same thing twice. So he's basically like, without directly saying it, he's saying, I can stay here as long as I want, and you can't touch me. Basically. Mm-hmm. That's what he's saying. And he's like, he's still a smug son of a bitch. And let me see. Never eat the same meal twice. Okay. And all John Wick does is this. And Winston sees the look on Wick's face. Just walk away.
Yeah.
Winston knows what John Wick is thinking.
He knows what John Wick is going to do.
Yeah. Yeah, Jonathan.
And that's what did it too, by the way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Him calling him Jonathan.
Because I think John Wick would have walked away at that point. Because again, John would honor the rules of the Continental. But when Santino mockingly said, "Yeah, Jonathan," that was a fuck you. Fuck you.
That's an ultimate fuck you. Yeah, it's like, you don't get to call me by that name.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Boom.
Oh my god, that is such a great freeze frame.
Yeah, I know. Just like finished. Like basically, he finished him.
What have you done? Finished
it. Yeah. He finished the fight. So it's
that's like, fine, fuck you, I'm done. Yeah. Now it's done.
Yeah, now it's done. So, and because of what John Wick did, now he is excommunicado. He spilled blood on Continental grounds.
Yeah.
And again, this is the scene we were talking about earlier, which shows like the power Winston has. Because Winston does give him time to get away, which is normally not done. At least we didn't see it done in the first movie. Basically, it was immediate excommunicado.
Yeah.
Once Winston, found you, you're done. But he gives John Wick an hour. He gives him an hour. So.
Well, I like that. At the end, he's like, "Well, why am I not dead? Because I deemed it not to be." And then he signals somebody, and everybody in that fucking park stops and faces Wick.
I'm gonna get to that point because Sharon finds John Wick at his burned down house, and Sharon's even saying it was a pleasure. Sharon's he's upset because he was very fond of John Wick, and he even said that he was a pleasure watching John Wick's dog. So it's so there's some so there's some sentiment there. It's actually paying Sharon to have to do this.
If you would
so it's this scene here in the park. Let me see if I can get to the point where. So.
Yeah, it's like they had just turned to him right there. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he nods, and then they start going about their business again.
They all walk
so it's
away.
Yeah. So it's he shows John, I could have because I deemed it not so, and I could have killed you right here.
They are all here essentially for you, John.
Yes. But I deemed it not so.
Yeah.
So he delayed, basically, when he called accounts payable, he called the accounts basically to excommunicado John Wick. He saved 1 hour. He gave him he said 1 hour. It shows you how much pull that Winston has.
Yeah. And I also like. Yeah, this scene here also creates a small inconsistency because in the he hands him a marker here where we know comes play in the third movie, but in the third movie he goes to a library and retrieves the marker there. So there's a small inconsistency because they didn't know how they were going to handle the third movie. But I also love the line that John says. He's like, "Winston, tell them, whoever comes, whoever it is, I'll kill them.
Okay. Yeah. I'll kill them all.
Kill them all."
And Winston knows. Basically, of course you will. Of course you will. Hey, Metal Mania, good to see you.
Yeah. The contract was doubled and actually went international. The original contract was just limited to New York. But
I think this was or at least close to the park, because those arches do look behind.
Oh yeah, that's the same park.
Yeah. So those. So we talked about Home Alone 2 in December. Yes. So now we're talking John Wick 2, and it's the same. It's the same park. And I also like when John Wick's running away, he starts walking away, and then he eventually starts running because he's
noticing
making his way, he hears the phones going off, and and people looking up at him. Yeah. Oh shit.
Well, because think about it, which one of these overzealous shit or assholes are going to break the rules to take a shot?
I know. I'm saying it's he starts running, and as he's running, you see periodically someone with the phone look up.
Yeah.
And it's
he's some of them just looking at him like, oh shit, yeah, there goes a dead man.
Yeah. So the fact just so there are a lot of assassins in New York, that whole park was assassins, because Winston says you would have been dead.
Yeah.
Because
why am I not dead yet? Because I deemed it not to be.
Yeah, they were all assassins there. So
because that tells you that he was actually contemplating whether or not to actually kill him. It's like, should I kill him now, or should I give him a chance out of respect? And he even says he even established the excommunicado earlier in the film. While my preference is excommunicado, the high tables is much more severe.
Yes. And the fact that he killed someone, well, actually technically two people of the high table, because he killed Gianna. He did the mercy killing essentially on her. Then he killed Santino, which is basically pissed off the Kimura, which pisses off the high table.
Yep.
So that's what I say. Like this movie, while I think it's the weakest, it is so good. It feels like more of just a setup for the ultimate showdown. Basically, it doesn't feel like an act like like the first movie felt like a contained story. Basically, like like an actual story that you're seeing. It's a vengeance tale, but it's like simple vengeance tales, but it's a story. This one feels like, well, we have to bridge like to where John Wick takes on the high table. So what are we going to do? And this is like this is the route they chose. Not a bad route necessarily, but at the same time, it was like, I'm not wild about the villain.
Yeah.
So he does have power. Like there is hierarchy of power. When you are running the Continental, like you are pretty damn powerful. You're not as powerful as the high table because he still had to kind of acquiesce
to the adjudicator.
They are the adjudicator who comes in the third movie, basically. So it's like he has to acquiesce to her, but he does have that power. She say, "Oh, this one is excommunicado." Boom.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this one has forfeited his or her life for whatever reason. So
I hate that adjudicator.
Yeah. So I'm saying, so it's like, was it worth it to violate the Continental rule?
Nope.
So.
But we also get to see how skilled he is because he fucking Frankenstein's a revolver in the third one. You were not here when I was talking about it earlier, but yeah, It's like, dude, if a person can fucking Frankenstein a revolver, I want nothing to do with trying to kill him.
Yeah. I think also Winston is a father figure to John Wick. As well, Julius is a father figure in a sense to John Wick.
That was a a theory that I had last week, Gigawatt, because he does have Rusko Roma tattoos on his hand in the fourth one. So
I'm gonna dad joke here from Gravy D. He's like at least get his continental breakfast before he left. So. But anyway, yeah. So we're not talking the third or fourth movies. We only talk the ones and twos of a series. So this is basically the end of John Wick Chapter 2, which leads into, like I said, John Wick Chapter 3 and Chapter 4. There has been talks, while not confirmed either way, of a possible John Wick Chapter 5. Keanu Reeves, I think, has kind of nixed that because he said that while his heart wants to do it, his knees say otherwise. So we'll see. I think it's John Wick Chapter 4 has the perfect ending to the entire series, but there's something that they could do story-wise with the fifth one, should they so choose. We'll see.
John Wick Chapter 5, Baba Yaga.
Yeah, so it's like I could see where they could go with the fifth one. Is it necessary? No, but I could see where they would go with it. No. But my order would be 1, 4, 3, 2. In terms of ranking for these movies. I think 3 just edges out 2. Just because, like I said, I think the villains are the weakest in this movie and the weakest overall in the franchise, and that kind of 3 just edges it just enough that I put 3 above 2. 3 is not nearly as good as 4, and I put 1 at number 1 because without the first one, we would not have the subsequent movies. So.
Yep. 1, 4, 3. Yeah, I totally agree with you. 1432.
Yeah, so you're talking about Donnie Yen's character, and we don't
Johnny
know.
Woo? Who the fuck is Johnny Woo?
We don't know. Don't really know.
Want to see what happened to Don? Well, I'm guessing he either died by Hiroyuki Sanada's daughter's character, or
she was going after him. Yeah, she was going after him. So I don't need to see what happens to his character. I mean, I guess it would be nice, but at the same time, it's like John Wick Chapter 4 has a perfect ending, and it would be like, nice to know, but don't need to see. Of course, sort of situation with Donnie Yen's character. I liked his character, but I don't need to see what happens to his character. However, I'm saying John Wick Chapter 5 would be him basically in a way going after the high table, basically to kind of clean the corruption, I guess. Clean up the corruption, because I'm guessing there's some corruption up.
He would have to erase the table. No, the way I see it, the table basically said, you know what, we need to remind them who's in command. So we are going to give one member all power, which is what they did with the whatchamacallit, the I forget what his title is, but he was basically given all power to basically take care of the Wick situation. And, well, that dude was completely fucking brutal. Not all members of the table would have been as brutal in their in their methods. Marquis.
Right?
Yeah. Marquis. Dig it all.
Yeah. But there it is. That is John Wick Chapter 2 for the 1s and 2s. And tomorrow I will be watching Law Abiding Citizen for the first time because I've never seen that movie, and that's what we're talking about for the singles. But before I go into my outro and like basically the streaming schedule moving forward on my end, as well as the 1s and 2s for next month, Orange Chat, let everybody know where they can find you and everything you have coming up.
All right. So, folks, due to that, we always do our singles and 1s and 2s in the latter half of each month. Next month, I will be a little bit conflicted with my schedule. So Thursdays are not going to be the singles for next month. We are most likely going to switch them to Tuesday nights, depending on what me and Mara finalize. But tomorrow night is 8 p.m. Eastern on X exclusive, because fuck YouTube in this case. We'll be talking Law Abiding Citizen, and then I will be most possibly doing a Orange Hat Uncensored on Friday. Sunday is the weekly recap, and Tuesday, well, I will most likely have a new theme going, which is March Madness. So, and not the sports version. Gotta explain Law Abiding Citizen tomorrow. Oh, I will, or we will be discussing that tomorrow, Conroy. Don't you worry. But yeah, or something green, I believe is.
Yes, that is like the theme, so to speak, for the 1s and 2s. No, Gravy, you get that evil out of my fucking chat. Basically, not killing Leprechaun into Hood and back to the no. But the common thread, I'll say this, the common thread in the 1s and 2s and the singles will be the color green, because green is typically associated with St. Patrick's Day. So that does not necessarily have anything to do with St. Patrick's Day, but well, fucking guessed it, Gravy. Thank you for spoiling it.
God damn it, Gravy,
but the 1s and 2s for the green will be, because I said let's go animated next month. Let's go animated next month, because we talk live action. So Shrek 1 and 2, because Shrek is green, and so basically I gave Orange Hat a suggestion for the singles, but he's gonna come up with the singles for next month with that little common thread in the movies. Oh, yeah. So yeah, Shrek 1 and 2 next month, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going animated for March.
Animated March. There you go. Animated March. Yeah.
There. But as far as my schedule moving forward, tomorrow, obviously, I will be talking Law Abiding Citizen on X with Orange Hat. So tune into that. Friday, I'll be back to streaming on my Kick and Twitch. Another chill stream playing Sims 2. Had an issue, a little technical glitch or technical hiccup with the last stream, and my house didn't save. So I spent today a little bit creating a new house, which I'm actually like better than what I was creating before. And I started making it today and work on it tomorrow. And I told, I said, you know what, I'll screenshot it so you can see what I'm working on in my Discord, basically. But I'll be going back to playing Sims 2 on Friday, chill stream to relax at the end of the week, because Saturday, if you're a part of my Discord, I'll be doing a watch party of Elimination Chamber, which begins at 7 p.m. Eastern. So I'll be if you watch wrestling, we'll be watching that Saturday evening. And eventually do a review on the original Snow White film, just despite the modern one. What I would suggest, Xavier, just in as a juxtaposition to the original Snow White film, and I'm assuming you're talking about the animated version of Snow White because of what Disney is doing. If you want an interesting spin on the tale, Snow White: A Tale of Terror, if you like, would be an interesting juxtaposition, basically in terms of like the spin on the fairy tale itself, which stars Sigourney Weaver as the evil queen. So, a little bit of it's, when I say this is the movie I typically bring up, where it's like, if you want to do a spin on a movie, this is how you do it. All right, if you want to change anything, this is how you do it. So it was, like I said, it's an interesting take on the fairy tale. But yeah, it's called Snow White: A Tale of Terror. And what's her name? She was kind of big in the 90s. She was in Freddy vs. Jason as the female lead, and I can't remember the actress's name, but she plays she plays the Snow White character in the movie. So, but yeah. But anyway, chat. Yeah. So, and talk nerdy to us, because I asked my nerdy home. I basically kind of semi-asked / told my nerdy home that I want to do the drunk St. Patty's Day one, because she got the drunk New Year's Eve one for the Talk Nerdy streams. I want the drunk St. Patty's one. So I will remind my nerdy home that she's doing the stream 2 Sundays in a row. So this coming Sunday and the following Sunday will be on her channel, and then after that, it'll be on my channel for the drunk St. Patty's one. And then we'll kind of be go back to maybe every other Sunday or whatever. But that one will be on my channel. And then, yeah. So that is the streaming schedule, at least on my end, through Sunday. Again, no stream Saturday. If I have time, I might play some Sims 2 offline and share my screen before Elimination Chamber. But for the most part, it's just going to be watching SmackDown, the replay, and then getting ready for the Discord watch party. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. So once I know for sure what the singles are, I will let you know. But the 1s and 2s for next month will be Shrek 1 and 2. And we will let you know the schedule once we have a firmer grasp on how we're going to handle those streams. I will let you all know. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, have a good rest of your day or evening, wherever you are in the world. And we will see you all tomorrow on X, talking law-abiding citizen. Good night.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.